Some of y'all get up in here real quick. Some of y'all get up in here real quick. Let some of y'all get up in here real quick. Let some of y'all get through here real quick. Let y'all fall through. Let y'all fall through. I see some of y'all starting to come in. Make sure you hit that like button when y'all come through. Make sure you hit that like button when y'all come through. We got stuff to talk about. Y'all go ahead, come on through. Y'all go ahead, come on through. I see y'all fall up in here real quick. See, come on over a second. I ain't with nowhere. I'm still here. Make sure you hit that like button when y'all come through here, though. What's the deal? What's the deal? What's good, Spitz? What's up? What's up with it? And I have a crazy take, and I need to know. Oh, what's your take then? Yo, when Pitre getting back, I would move that nigga to cornerback, bro. He our best DB when healthy. Sting need to move to safety. Nah, Stingley don't need to be the safety. Nah, Stingley. I see some of y'all more came through. Make sure in that light when y'all come through here. Nah, Stingley don't need to be a safety. Nah, Petre's better at safety. Lead Pitre where he's at. I think he did play some corner at Baylor, if I'm not mistaken. But now lead Pitre where he's at. Pitre is the best defensive back that we have. With healthy. There's no refuting that as of right now. Until further notice, Pitre is the best. Pitre might be the best defensive player, honestly. I mean, I know what we feel about with Will Anderson, but as of right now, Petre's probably the best defensive player. As of right now, until further notice, Jalen Pitre is our best defensive player. I don't think we need to move Stingley to corner. Man, Stingley just gotta be healthy, bro. Like, Stingley just gotta be healthy. It is what it is at this point. We gotta keep him on the field as it stands right now. And I think this is more so of an indictment on Nick Caserio. Out of Nick Caserio's first four picks, I know like we gave him a pass in 2021 because he didn't have a first round pick, didn't have a second round pick. But so in the 2022 draft, last year's draft, he had multiple firsts and ended up having multiple seconds. So that's what we judge him on. Out of his first four selections, three of them either can't get on the field or can't stay on the field. The only one who could actually go, and the only one who was the most productive is Jalen Pitre. Outside that, Stingley missed time last year and is going to be missing time this year. Kenyon Green came into camp last year out of shape. Ended up getting benched if I'm not mistaken, but then missed some time because of injury. And then this year, out IR ain't playing the snap this year. Mechie missed all of last season and can't really get on the field this season. So three of his first four picks can't get on the field and stay on the field. And to be honest, if you want to stretch it to all five of his first picks last year, if you want to switch to all five of his first picks last year, As of right now, Jalen Pitre's hurt and Damian Pierce got hurt in last season. If you want to be completely technical about it, but I think we feel differently about those guys because of it's not constant injuries with them. It's not constant injuries with him. It's not bleeding into 2 seasons. Jalen Pitre was perfectly fine last year and was your second best player outside Larry Tunsil last year, if not your best player at all last year. If you want to be completely honest, should have been an All Pro. So Jalen Pitre had his rookie year that he wasn't hurt. This year a little bit different. As it stands, Damian Pierce missed time at the end of his rookie year, but still was able to play. Was able to play this year. We just can't get him on. We can't utilize him on the field. That's our problem with when it comes with Damian Pierce. We can't utilize him. Yeah, but right now it's not looking good for Nick Caserio. Not to mention that you draft Stingley a third overall, the fourth pick of Sauce Gardner, who won Defensive Rookie of the Year, who was the first team All Pro last year and the Pro Bowler. The next pick, and then same thing with John Mitchell. You draft John Mitchell, I think 4 or 5 picks later. Pittsburgh ended up drafting Jordan Pickens, who's looking like a #1 receiver out there in Pittsburgh. Those type of things, and the same thing with Kenyon Green was Zion. Zion's way better than Kenyon Green at this point. So all these type of things, you drafted guys, and then guys right after your selection was drafted in the same position. It's not even gonna feel. And man, shout out to the boy Chris with the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. So Spitz, Texas Nation. Imagine team picking Stingley knowing his issues in LSU over Gardner. Wait, wasn't he the rookie defensive player of the year too last year? Yeah, I mean, those are things. The question again, I said this last year going to the draft. I was good with both Stingley I was good with both Stingley and Sauce Gardner. Me personally, I prefer Sauce Gardner. Me individually, I prefer Sauce Gardner because of the type of style of cornerback that he plays. He uses his hands. He's more handsy, more physical at the top of the route, like the punch. And Stingley's more of a straight cover corner. I think that Stingley has more natural talent than Sauce Gardner. When talking about recovery speed, able to use his coverage, he don't need to use his hands because he's so good in coverage and able to stay to a receiver with his own pure speed, and able to play games with both the quarterback and the receiver, letting them think that they open when they really not open, able to go over there and able to make a play on the football. That's the type of player that Stingley was. Hey, and shout out to KK Games, the super chat sticker. Thank you, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. But you got those type of things going out there. Make sure you hit that like button. I see more people coming through, but the lights ain't going up. Make sure you hit that like button when y'all come through. Definitely appreciate that. But what I was saying though about Sauce and Stingley, I like Stingley coming out, and I think the Stingley has more physical gifts. But I just like the style of the corner that Sauce plays, using his hands, being physical, trying to punch people, jam it throughout. I like that type of style. But I was good with either or. But he did have injuries concerns coming out. I think he played his full freshman year, which is his best year in college. His next 2 years, he missed time, ended up having foot surgery, and was in the boot. That's the reason why he didn't perform at the combine, because he was in the boot. These are things that documented note. And again, I understood why they went with Stingley because of the physical gifts and the physical traits. And also Sauce using his hands a little bit too much, always getting his hands caught in the cookie jar, possibly able to get a lot of pass interference calls. He does not get called for in New York. He gets away with a lot of using his hands. I'm gonna be honest with you. He gets away with a lot of should be pass interferences and things like that. He don't get those calls. He don't get those calls in New York. I'm pretty sure he'll get those calls in Houston. He definitely gets those calls. Like the pass interference call that Stingley got against the Ravens. I wouldn't have pulled the flag on that, but because he's a Houston Texan, he gets that flag. Sauce Gardner doesn't get that flag in New York. Let's be real. And I think if Stingley was on another team, if he was in New York, if he was with the Chiefs, with the Cowboys, I don't think he'd get those type of calls either. But because he's in Houston, he's going to get that type of call and get called pass interference. Same thing last year against Courtland Sutton. Same type of situation. They start pulling the flag real early to change the dynamic of how he was going to play that game, which was his worst game last year. Like I said, I completely disagree with the notion that Seth Payne put out there the other day on the radio, saying that in his mind that Stingley's a bust. That because Stingley doesn't like to play through injuries, and then when he does play, he's not all that good when he plays. That's a lie. Now, I do think that Steven Nelson is the best corner on the field. Like out of those two, Steven Nelson undoubtedly is the #1 corner last year and this year, and it's not even close. I agree with that system. If you want to say he's not your number one corner, when he should be your number one corner because you invested the third pick in the draft in him, he should be your number corner. I get that, but he's not that, and I understand this. If you would say he's not the number one corner, I would understand that. And shout out to that boy shout out to that boy Chris for super chat. But let me get this point. I'm gonna shout that out. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate that, bro. But I appreciate that I understand that standpoint. But to say he doesn't play through injuries a lot, because last year against, I think it was the Chargers, he hurts his arm and he goes out there and puts a sleeve on it and it falls on it and hurts it again. I want him out of the game, but he continued to play through it. Then he either put up like the little brace on his arm and play with that brace the rest of the season up until he got his hamstring injury. So to say he doesn't play through injuries is a lie, because he did. And also, to sit up and say he wasn't that good when he was the most targeted cornerback last year, didn't give up a touchdown. Now, granted, he didn't finish out the season. Who knows? If he would have finished out the season, he probably would have eventually given up a touchdown, because he's not going to go his whole career without giving up a touchdown. That would be amazing if he did that, but I highly doubt he'll do that. So, to say he's not good when he plays, now maybe you say he's not the number, he's not what you expected, the number 3 cornerback, or you expect him to play better, undoubtedly play better than Sauce, and that's not it. If you were to say that, I could understand that. But to say he's not good when he's on the field and he doesn't play through injuries, that's an absolute lie. That's an absolute lie. And like I said, shout out to boy Chris once again with super chat love. Is it true that they picked Stingley because he is low key a sauce and flashy and wants attention? Doesn't that go against the Patriot standards? No, I don't think it's because Sauce is flashy. I don't think it's because Stingley is mild mannered and Sauce is flashy. I don't think that's the reason why. I firmly believe the reason why they went after Stingley is because when you watch the tape out of Stingley and Sauce, if you watch the college tape, that Stingley, from the tape standpoint, is the better corner. He's the most physically athletic, gifted corner out of the two. That's undoubtedly. And his freshman tape is better than better than the tape that Sauce had. It is. Now I know Sauce didn't give up a touchdown in college, but Sauce also didn't play against the SEC either. Like, he didn't play against the SEC either. And again, this is coming from somebody who prefers Sauce over Stingley. But I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and say that Stingley's tape, especially his freshman year tape, is better than any tape that Sauce had his freshman, sophomore, and junior year at Cincinnati. I would be flat out of line if I was saying so. I believe when they looked at the tape, his tape is better. Then you go through the measurements and you go through the evaluation process from physical gifts. Stingley has more physical traits. That's why a lot of people are fighting so hard on the Texan side about Stingley over Sauce. And I get it. I think a lot, and I also think a lot of it got to be with the person who's on the person who is who's on your team. You know, you're gonna defend the person on your team because he's on your team. So I think some of it has to go with it. But people who actually know football and watch football and actually pay attention, they not just casual fans. People that actually watch football, they can sit up and say like, no, when you look at it, Stingley has more physical gifts than Sauce Gardner, and Stingley's freshman tape is better than Sauce's tape. It's better than Sauce's tape in his whole career at Cincinnati. But the thing is, we haven't seen him play that level since his freshman year. He had that one freshman year, and then he battled with injuries in the next 2 years. When Sauce was consistent and was healthy throughout his whole college and stayed the same, he had up and down. It was just consistent play. Now again, Stingley's was better tape. His 1 year's tape was better than all 3 years of Sauce, but Sauce was consistent throughout the board. With Sauce, what you seen with Sauce is what you always got with Sauce coming out of college in Cincinnati. Stingley had that amazing freshman year. The next 2 years was decent. They weren't bad, but they weren't as good as the freshman year. And he also was dealing with injuries. If anybody tells you that he was just as good or better, they lying. His freshman year is way better than his sophomore and junior year, and he was dealing with injuries. So those things are not. When you got a guy who's fully healthy and consistent, you know exactly what you're getting out of Sauce. Stingley, you know what you could get, but will you always get that? Because injuries derailed the last 2 years. But he also has all the physical gifts and the physical traits. So That's the reason why I believe that they took. That's the reason why I believe that they took Stingley over Sauce. Had nothing to do with he's not flashy. That he's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with that. I think it's strictly for football reasons. They seen his freshman tape was better, and they also seen that he had more physical traits. But again, those things could end up doing him in if Sauce continues to play at the level that he's been playing. I know that he's had a rocky first two games with the Bills against the Cowboys. He hasn't been looking like how he looked last year. But if he can get back on that trajectory of looking like how he was looking last year and being at the very least a Pro Bowl second team, he don't got to be first team All Pro and lead the league and pass deflections like he did last year as a rookie. If he's second team All Pro and able to be a Pro Bowl and is a consistent corner, those things. And Stingley can't get on the field or can't stay on the field, that will make Stingley and that pick look even worse. And that's the battle is. We just got to be completely honest. We got to put our Texan biases aside, that we're Texan fans, and that we like Stingley, and we like Stingley to come out of LSU. As of right now, Sauce is the better player right now. And right now, on what is it, September 22nd? September 21st. September 22nd. September 22nd, Friday, September 22nd, 2023. Sauce Gardner is a better NFL player than Stingley. It is. It is. Best abilities, availability, and he actually has better accolades than Stingley. And I'm not saying that Stingley can't and won't be better, but as of right now, that's how it is, and we just gotta go with that. Hey man, shout out to the boy Chris once again with the Super Chat love. You got to really hit the Super Chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Besides, Stroud really thinks back all the general manager and acquired for the Texans, how many busts he picked up and no longer on the team. I mean, that's true. Like, if it's a shout out for the Super Chat love, I think if CJ and Williams and possibly can save Nick Caserio's job. I'm not turning this to a Nick Caserio fire session, but I do think that Nick Caserio's seat, that his seat should be warm. It should be hot. It should be getting hotter by the day, baby. It should be warming up by the day. As the day continues to go on, his seat should continue to get even hotter and hotter and hotter and warmer and warmer and warmer. How things are going, how things are leaning towards when you having all these injuries. You're not going out there. You're not bringing nobody in. Tyree Thomas broke his hand. Tyree Thomas broke his hand in the game on Sunday. So you knew on Sunday night that you needed a corner. That you possibly could need a corner. Forget the whole Darius Stingley thing, and you didn't bring nobody in. But when the Cleveland Browns, when Nick Chubb gets hurt on Monday Night Football. And the Cleveland Browns is gone for the season. When he gets hurt in the middle of the game is still playing. Cleveland Browns social media brought in or Ian Rappaport, whoever, already reported the Cleveland Browns are going to have reached out and they're going to be bringing in Kareem Hunt for a visit. The game is still going on. Like the game is still going on, and they already telling people, hey, they already reaching out to people saying that we're bringing this guy in at least for a lookout, and then end up re-signing the next day. Where's that sense of urgency when it comes to Nick Caserio? Where's that sense of urgency when it comes to Nick Caserio? Like I said after the game on Sunday when we talked about the offensive line, these are the people, man, we need to fix the offensive line. Your hands are kind of tied with the offensive line because you've already invested in it. 5 offensive linemen. You had 5 starting offensive linemen. You got your left guard, you got your left tackle, left guard, right guard, and your center. Your left tackle, you just made him the highest paid offensive lineman. Your right tackle, you just gave him a contract extension. You traded for your right guard, and you paid him. You spent the second round pick on. You spent the second round pick on your center that you jumped up to go get. Spent the second round pick on him, and then drafted another center later on the draft. And then your left guard, you invested a first round pick in last year. Then he's on injury reserve. He's on injury reserve right now. So you've already invested high draft capital and money. In the case of and actually, to be honest, all of it. I'm not gonna blame them for trading for Larry Tunsil, but you invested draft capital and or money And actually, in the case of Shaq Mason, you invested both because you traded for Shaq Mason and paid him, and you also spent the first round pick on drafting Tyus Howard. And I know, like I said, I'm not gonna blame, but you also spent multiple first round picks to trade for Larry Tunsil. So you actually gave them both. So in your offensive line, you invested high draft capital with first and second round picks, and or in both cases gave money to the other three. So there's no point of fixing the offensive line. So if you end up getting another offensive lineman, that means you're admitting that you made a mistake somewhere on one of those five. That's a fireable offense. Not you have guys who brought in, you're not bringing nobody in. When your guys are getting hurt, you're not bringing nobody in. That's a fireable offense. The trade for Williams, I see people talking about they regret the trade for Williams. Y'all got that confused. Don't regret the trade for Willie Anderson, but regret the capital that you gave up. You gave up your first round pick. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. I don't know if y'all have it. There's a special on Roku. Hey, shout out to boy Chris once again with some more super chat love. Appreciate that. Is it true that Nick really wasn't the guy pick players for the Patriots? It was Belichick. How can Nick bring the team back from a negative standpoint? Thanks to Bill, we can blame him. I think it was a collective effort, and shout out to Chris for the super chat. Love, definitely appreciate that. I think it was a collective effort. I think it was a collective effort, honestly, between the two. I think they both said, again. I was not on the board of hiring Nick Caserio. I think majority of Texan fans did not want to hire Nick Caserio. Let's let that be clear. I think the majority of Texan fans did not want to hire Nick Caserio, and that's part of the reason why the other quarterback, who's really not looking all that good in Cleveland, wanted out was because of the same old Texans. They listened to doing this whole Patriot thing, and I think a lot of people had issues with Nick Caserio. I had issues with Nick Caserio. I did. And then I think a lot of people felt a little different in last year's draft because Stingley, like I said, it was out Stingley and Sauce. If you got one of those two, I was good. For me, it was Stingley, Sauce, and Kyle Hamilton. If you had got one of those three, I've been happy with, and I was cool with it. You end up getting Stingley. Then you end up going out there and getting Pitre, going out there and you got Dameon Pierce, surprise of the season. And obviously this year going out there and get CJ and also get Will Anderson and getting Tank Dell. We like what we seen out of the draft. Saying that Christian Harris told all those we like Xavier Hudson. We like what we've seen out of the draft for the last 2 years. But like I constantly tell people all the time, he could just be good at drafting. He could just be good at young talent evaluation. That does not mean that he's a good general manager because I never liked any of his trades. And I don't even care about the Deshaun Watson trade. Like that one, that's a whole another trade for a whole another thing. But just some of his in-season trades didn't make any sense. Some of his trades on during free agency doesn't make any sense. His free agency signings is horrible. Always giving out 1-year contracts. Then not re-signing players when you should. Like you re-sign Eric Murray, but you won't re-sign Steven Nelson when Steven Nelson was your best cornerback last year and clearly your best cornerback in training camp this season and going into the season. The best cornerback you have right now. Now you got an issue with Darius Stingley. How do you expect to sign Steven Nelson? You got to sign Steven Nelson now. Like now, because as of right now, Stingley's not reliable as it stands right now. Stingley, from a health standpoint, is not reliable. So you have to sign Steven Nelson. And if I'm Steven Nelson, if I'm his agent, I'm not signing. No, because yesterday's price is not today's price. You had a chance to sign me when I was asking for this money during the offseason. You could have got me for a longer-term contract at a cheaper rate. Now you're gonna have to pay the cost. You have to pay the cost. I'm not gonna sign. I'm gonna hit free agent market. So you put yourself in a bad position. The Brandon Cooks situation. You should have traded away Brandon Cooks last year to Dallas. Dallas wanted to get Brandon Cooks. The rumor was that they was willing to give up they were willing to give up like a 3rd round pick, I think, at that time. And I think he ended up going for a 5th. And everybody was like, man, I told you got to wait for the compensation. No. You trade him during the season when a team is desperate for him. I'm going to keep saying that. You trade him when the team is desperate for him in the middle of the season because they feel like they can make a run. In the offseason, the urgency is not there because they can haggle. It's like negotiating. They can haggle and go back and forth with you. When the person's in a pinch and a bind, they're subject. They're at your will because you're the person who's selling the items, so they're at your will. What you need to do And what you need to do is trade and trade him. Hey, y'all want him? Y'all trying to make the players? Y'all about to go on the run? I'm gonna need that third off you. I'm gonna need this, whatever the case may be. Those things could have been Those things could have been vital. We had an extra third round pick. Who knows what we could have did in this year's draft with that extra draft compensation if we would have had a third round pick instead of having the fifth round pick or whatever pick we end up getting for Brandon Cooks. You could have got him way better. Well, you could have got it with a higher value draft pick if you would trade him last year. You can actually make the case that he held on to Deshaun Watson a little bit too long. I'm not going to go back and forth with that because of a lot of the issues when it comes to the allegations. But you can also make the case that he was trying to hold on to Deshaun Watson for a little bit too long because I think he was adamant about not training Deshaun Watson. And then also the report of him saying that when he does trades, he likes it to be fair on both sides. No, that's not your job. Your job as the Texans general manager is to make the Texans better. I don't care what the other team is getting. Now, again, I'm not going to flat out lie because you don't want to ruin a relationship by flat out lying to somebody like, oh, I'm jumping up to pick whatever pick and I'm going to draft this player and then end up drafting a whole other player because you just trying to lie. You just trying to get that pick. You don't do stuff like that, or you know this player is hurt or whatever, and you or you know this player about to go against some massive trouble, some type of situation. Like, no, you don't flat out lie. But when it comes to, hey, I'm not gonna, no, don't give me that pick. Give me this pick because I want to make it a little bit fair. No, does they want to offer you that pick, or you can get that pick up off them? Get that pick up. They're not gonna do that for you. They're not gonna give you that same courtesy. Like the Arizona Cardinals didn't give us the same courtesy. Like I said, there's a video. I don't know if y'all have Roku, but there's a video out there behind the draft, and they cover about a couple of teams in the top of the draft throughout the whole draft process during their war room. And it has the part when the Texans called the Cardinals trying to get the pick, trying to trade up for the pick to get Will Anderson. And when they actually do that, the Cardinals say, "Yeah, we told you that wasn't enough." Wherever the conversation was, and they asked. So then the Texans and Caserio say, "Okay, how about extra first?" He's okay. With first, and they thought that they was giving us the Cleveland Browns first, and he's like, "No, we giving y'all our first." Like, oh, okay. They would have took the Cleveland Browns first. They wasn't expecting you to give them your first because they like chances are you'll be a worse football team than the Cleveland Browns. And as it stands right now, you'll be a worse football team than the Cleveland Browns. That is a bad decision, and again, that right there will end up doing him in. I don't care about giving them the better deal. No. Because at that point, you weren't outbidding nobody. Because the Titans, who originally wanted to trade up for that pick, once we draft C.J. Stroud, they were out. The Titans like, no, there's no point. The person who we wanted off the board, the point was giving up draft capital and jump up to 3. No, we ain't about to do that. With the quarterback we wanted off the board. They called the coach, hey, y'all want to jump up a spot? They're like, nah, we good. They're like, nah, we good. We're good where we at. We're good where we at. Because C.J. Stroud's off the board. Okay, we're going to go AR. Even though I think they were going to go AR anyway. I think they were going to go AR-15 regardless. Because when they seen that somebody jumped up for the Cardinals, they held their breath and said, "Oh, good, it's the Texans." Because I think they felt that somebody was going to jump up against AR, and then they would be stuck with Will Levis. So that type of situation. So you gotta go out there and make the deal better for you. Don't worry about if the deal is good for them. Nobody cares if the deal is good for them. Worry about if the deal is good for you. That doesn't make any damn sense. I don't understand the logic. That makes no sense to me. Why you care about if the deal is good for them? I see more people jumping in. Make sure you hit that like button when y'all come through it. Definitely appreciate that. I see 32 people, but 22 likes. Make sure you hit that like button. But that doesn't make any sense. Like that don't make any sense, or why you want to make sure that team is doing better or that team has a good deal. Again, understand you don't want to sully your relationship, but at the same time, you don't want to do that to benefit the detriment of your team. Man, shout out to that boy Chris once again with the super chat love. Spitz, keep it real, keep Nick or not under 5 wins. Yeah, if you don't win more than 5 wins, like one of you don't win more than 6 wins, you're more likely giving the Cardinals a top 8 pick. And if you're giving the Cardinals If you give the Cardinals a top 8 pick and that Cleveland Browns pick is not in the top 10, yeah, you should be fired. Um, because why'd you give your pick when you knew you wasn't ready? You knew you wasn't ready to win. Like, give it no matter what's being said, no matter, oh, who expect the Texans to win? I know people are like, yeah, you really, and again, I was foolish for predicting 11 games and saying that that we were going to win the division. I ain't gonna lie, I was foolish for that. Y'all hear it here first. I admit to that. I was foolish for predicting that. I'm sorry for that. I'm completely sorry if y'all believe me and bought in that, because I'm sorry. I was foolish for believing that. But part of the reason why I believe that is because, okay, when the moment that you decide to give up your first round pick when you don't need to, it's not like the Panthers situation where they need to get their first round pick to get their quarterback. One, you already drafted your quarterback. You already had your quarterback in pocket. It wasn't like you was moving up to go get your quarterback. You went up to go get. You went up. You already had your quarterback. So you went to make an extra play move, to be honest, a luxury move with Will Anderson. And not saying I ain't want Will Anderson. I am perfectly happy that we got Will Anderson. But let this sink in. The moment you decide to give up your pick and not Cleveland's pick, you said to your team, your fan base, and the whole NFL as a whole that we are competing this year, that we're going to be good, and that we're competing this year and we're going to be good, and we're at the very least are going to be from the middle of the pack to the top half of the league. And we're going to be around team 16 up into the bottom of the top 10 teams in the NFL as far as the top 10 good teams in the NFL. That's what that's the signal that you're telling everybody. That's because when you don't have to give up your pick. Again, the Panthers, they're in a different situation because they had to give up their first round pick to get Bryce Young. If we had to give up our first round pick, if Arizona required you to give up your first round pick, that's different. Or if you didn't have 2 first round picks, that's different. But when you have 2 first round picks, you have yours and you have somebody else's, and you give up yours instead of giving up the other one, and the other team didn't ask you to, that's what you're telling everybody, is that you're competing and that you're ready to win, and you are there to, at the very least, be competitive and be in the middle of the pack franchise in the NFL. That, hey, it don't matter. Hey, yeah, we want to be in the playoffs, but we know we pick 15 in the draft, and the Cleveland Browns is picking pick 17. It's no harm, no foul. No, we gave the Cardinals that pick, no harm, no foul. We still have an additional first round pick to play with. We cool. But when the Cleveland Browns give you pick 15, pick 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, possibly 20, and you give the Arizona Cardinals a top 5 pick or a top 8 pick, that's a fireable offense. Shout out to boy Chris once again with the super chat love, bro. They didn't appreciate injuries though. I know you can't predict injuries, but when you know that Derek Stingley was suffering with injuries coming out of college, had surgery, had been a boot coming out of college, you know he was suffering with injuries, and you decided to take him because you looked at the tape versus Sauce Gardner. I get you on that. But the John Mechie one. Mechie tore his ACL in the SEC championship game. John Mechie tore his ACL. Either it was the SEC championship game or was the national championship game. What game did John Mechie tear his ACL? John Mechie tore his ACL. Again, you can't predict that he's gonna have leukemia. But you know what though? The John Mechie coming out of high school, going to Alabama, had a heart condition. He had a heart murmur. And he missed time in high school because of that. I think he missed like the end of his last season. Either he missed the end of his last season, either he missed the end or beginning of his senior year, or he missed his junior year altogether. He missed some time dealing with a heart condition in high school, coming into Alabama. These are things that are documented. You as an NFL general manager, you as your scouts should know these things. So then when that person has that issue, then has a knee issue, and then also now has leukemia, and then it was a receiver drafted a couple picks later who's on the field, who's healthy, and who's a bona fide receiver in the NFL right now in Pickens for Pittsburgh, looking like a true number one receiver. Again, those things start to pile up. Again, yes, you couldn't control the leukemia and couldn't predict that. You didn't have a machine saying, oh, he's going to be sick with leukemia. But you knew he had an ACL injury. And you knew, or you should have known, about the heart condition. And that's sometimes those are risks that if you knew that, if you didn't know that, you should have known. And I have a question that you didn't know. But if you knew that, you should have known that, okay, a person that already has a medical condition possibly could have a medical condition in the future. That's just how things work. That's why when you go to the doctor, they ask for previous medical history. They don't just ask that just to be asking. They don't just be nosy. They ask it because people who are subject to have things in their past, those things end up coming up again in the future and or cause new problems. Same thing with family medical history as well. That's the reason why they ask those questions. They don't just ask them to be nosy. When you go to the doctor, they ask for your medical history, and they also ask for your parents' medical history or family medical history as well, because if something recent, like in your parents, grandparents, brother, sister, whatever, of recent close family has medical issues, or if you have previous medical issues, those things can rear their ugly head in the future and or cause new problems. That's the reason why they ask. That's the reason why you gotta have the information. So if you have the information, which you should have, if you don't have the information, if you didn't have the information, I want to question why you don't have the information, and that's a whole new ball game. But if you know that, you should know that things could pop up in the future. Things could possibly pop up in the future. So are those risks that you want to take? Because if you take those risks and they end up popping up, and then you have another player that plays the same position, that comes up and it doesn't have those issues, and they're on the field, they're playing and they're productive, well, you gotta take that. And what taking that means, you possibly could lose your job because you took that risk. That's the reason why it's called risk versus reward. You haven't received the reward yet. You just only got the risk part, and you got the bad part of the risk part. So now, because of that, you might have to lose your job. You have now somebody has to pay for this. It's just like, if you going to work and Monday, you got flat tire. Man, I'm late. I'm late. I had flat tire this morning. And then Tuesday, man, hey, it was a wreck on I-10. Traffic was backed up. Wednesday, it was a train. Thursday, I ran out of gas. Man, Friday, it was a fire over there. Then next Monday, no, bro, you just late. I don't care. I don't care if you have a valid excuse anymore. I don't care if what you're saying actually really happened. You're not lying. These things really did happen. It's out of your control. But bro, you just late. It's always something. If it's always something, that's just you. You just late. And that's what it is with Nick Caserio drafting players who can't stay again on the field. I don't care if they got real issues, valid issues. At this point in time, you late. You're drafting players who can't stay on the field. And for the ones who can't stay on the field, you always got something. This year was that. That year was this. This month was that. Next month's going to be this. You just heard, bro. You just is. Point blank, period. And we have to start holding these things accountable. We have to start holding these people accountable. And that's what it is. And as it stands right now, Nick Caserio is not doing a good enough job. Because the players that we brought in, even the ones that we liked, can't get on the field and stay on the field. They just can't. They can't get on the field. They can't stay on the field. That's where we're at right now. That's exactly where we're at now. Those guys cannot get or stay on the field. And when it comes to these guys, like and not only the other transactions, like I said, the trades, the only giving up one contract, not giving the right guys extensions, but giving these other guys extensions, and then they can't get on the field. Now it seems like this. How about this? So you're telling me 4 of the 5 guys, three of the 4 guys that you drafted at the top of last year's draft with the first and second round pick. One guy you jumped up to get Mechie at that. Not only did you not let Mechie fall to you, you jumped up and got John Mechie as well. can't either stay on the field or get on the field. And then the guys who you traded for and paid, they can't get on the field either. Like Tunsil, whatever Tunsil issue was, like your quarterback has a bum shoulder, can't throw, had to come to the facility at 3 o'clock in the morning to go out there and throw, and still threw for almost 400 yards and is fourth in the league in passing right now. Like that kid right there, like that guy right there, that kid right there, and your left tackle can't get out there, your right tackle and keep hurting him and breaking his hand, stuff like that. Like you got all these pretty dudes on the sideline, like being like they too pretty to play football right now. That's what they're doing. They too cute. They too cute and too pretty to play football right now. This is a man's sport. It's a gladiator sport. It's a physical, brutal sport. But they too cute. You know what I'm saying? They gotta sit there. They got the dangly earrings on, and they got the man bags. You know what I'm saying? They sit on the sideline, got their hair done, or you know what I'm saying? Got their lip gloss on. They sit on the sideline, chilling, smiling and cheesy, while your quarterback out here getting beat up. Your quarterback out here getting beat up in the physical game. Your team didn't show up to play on Sunday at home. Was no energy, no intensity. Came out there, got punched in the mouth. Punch straight in the mouth, just punch straight in the mouth, and didn't respond. But you got a rookie, a rookie linebacker, and Will Anderson got gathered the defense around, and be like, hey man, wake up, y'all, wake up, trying to rally the troops. CJ out here, rookie quarterback. These guys have played a game and a half of NFL football, a game and a half of NFL football. And rallying the troops. Juice Scruggs, who is yet to play in the NFL as a regular season, only played in the preseason, he was on the sidelines. He was on the sidelines with the offensive line, trying to help coach them up, trying to help them get them engaged and see what's up and see what's going on with the protection and the pressures on CJ, trying to get them coached up. But yet the guy who you just paid, there's an All Pro, a Pro Bowl left tackle. You just gave the highest paid money to. He couldn't do that. The other guy who you spent the first round draft pick on, knows a different regime, but the same mindset with Jack used to be in Bill O'Brien, the same exact mindset, jumped up and drafted Tyus Howard, and then you went out and paid Tyus Howard. They too cute and too pretty to be on the field, and then they can't even be with the offensive line, trying to help coach these guys up and see what's up with the protection and give in their 2 cents. They just on the sideline chilling, cheesing, taking pictures. On Twitter tweet, like the mindset. What's up with the mindset? Like what's up with the mindset? Because this is why I'm questioning Nico on. This is what I'm questioning D'Amico Ryans on, because I thought when hiring a former football player who we was calling Cap, we selling the Cap t-shirts, you know. We got the Cap t-shirts, you know. Hey, man, we knew that Cap was going to be a leader. He was drafted as a rookie. He came in as a rookie. And all the greats, Andre Johnson and Brian Cushing and D'Amico and J.J. Watt, and everybody come out there saying how good D'Amico was as a player, and I'm not questioning it because we know what D'Amico was. But so that's why I'm disgusted on what I've been seeing this team act like. That's why I'm disgusted, because I expect more. Forget the 11 wins, 5 wins, 6 wins, whatever. Just the expectation. Forget the wins or losses. I expect better of my team to come out there and play. I expect them, okay, if we're gonna get punched in the mouth, we gonna stand back up. We gonna throw some counter punches too. We gonna throw some counter punches too. We gonna punch some people in the mouth. That's what we gonna do. But it is what it is, Spitz. With what I'm talking about, like, what am I talking about? I'm clearly saying what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the intensity of this team. This team ain't got no intensity. If you watch the game on Sunday, they had no intensity. They got punched in the mouth. Well, they got punched in the mouth, and they wasn't ready to play. And I expect better than that. Forget winning or losing the game. Even though you want to win the game, I expect them to respond to that. And you can't sit there and tell me they responded when they were down 28 to 10 at halftime. Like they got punched in the mouth, and especially their defense. Their defense act like they didn't know what was going on. Anthony Richardson was running their defense like it was straight water. And that defense ain't know what they was doing. They didn't come to play. They were not prepared to play. And I'm saying with somebody like DeMeco Ryans, I expected more out of that. I expected more intensity. I expected more. And again, and DeMeco Ryans was mad himself because when I listened to DeMeco Ryans talk after the game, he's like, I tell him, do your damn job. Do your job. Do your job. Like, this ain't rock science. They need to do their job. They weren't ready to play. That's what I'm talking about from the intensity standpoint. But then you get some of that when you talk about the offensive line. When you paid Larry Tunsil, you paid Tyus Howard, they can't be on the field because they hurt. And even though they're not on the field, they the very least they could do they. Hey yo, hey guys, good job guys, come on. Hey, this is what I'm saying. The edge rusher coming off of this, hey, this is what y'all need to do with protection. Hey, like giving they advice because that's what they should be doing. If they can't actually go out there and physically play, they need to go out there and give up their mental knowledge of what they seeing. What they seeing, what's going on, help coaching up the guys. Because that's what Juice Scruggs was doing. And he's a rookie, ain't playing in the NFL yet. That's what he was doing. But Larry Tunsil, who's a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro, and Tyus Howard, who's a first-round pick, and both these guys just got paid, they're not doing that. So that's my issue. Like so either you, and my issue back to DeMeco Ryans is either you coaching it or you allowing it to happen. Either you coaching, y'all can do whatever y'all want, or I'm just allowing y'all to do whatever it is y'all want. And I expect more out of that. I expect that with David Culley. With David Culley, I would expect the team to do something like that. I'll expect the team to just be running amok and be doing stuff like that. I expect that with David Culley. Kind of same thing with Lovie Smith. You know, he an old man. You know, everybody, his grandpa. Anybody worry about grandpa? The kids getting the grandkids sneaking in and out the house with grandpa because he falling asleep on the couch. I expect that. I didn't expect that when it came with DeMeco Ryans. From everything that was talked about prior to us hiring, what we expect of DeMeco Ryans, when we seen him play, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that out of DeMeco Ryans. So seeing that was a disappointment. It really was. And shout out to boy Chris wants to give it a super chat. How you feel about Slowick? Should DeMeco interfere? I don't know about DeMeco interfering, but when and shout out to Chris with super chat love. I don't know about him interfering because I don't know I don't know if I trust DeMeco Ryans with offensive play calling duties. I don't think you need take the play calling away from him and you start calling plays yourself. I don't. We know I think that might end horrible. But I do think that Bobby Slowick is one and done. Bobby, because no matter what happens, no matter what happens, I mean, unless the team takes off and wins the division, it goes to the playoff type situation, or it's a huge win, like say we because you won't be 8-8, so at 8-9, like you 8-9, you the middle of the pack, like unless we go like on a huge run and we either make the playoffs or barely miss the playoffs type situation. But if it's like 4 or 5 wins and you give the Cardinals the top pick, somebody's going to pay. And the first person, I'd be honest, is going to be Bob Slowick, even before Nick Caserio. It's going to be definitely Bobby Slowick. It's definitely going to be Bobby Slowick. I seen somebody earlier say Cliff Kingsbury. I agree. That's who I wanted. It's not just a Texas issue. I think Cliff from a play call from calling offensive, because he doesn't run just a strictly air raid. He runs air raid-ish. I think with him, I think he's a better play caller than the head coach. Johnny won the Heisman as him being the OC, him being the quarterback coach. Case Keenum at U of H was the all-time winningest quarterback in college football. With him being the quarterback coach, like I said, Johnny won the Heisman with him, and also won the combo and became basically the team that basically became a hotbed for recruits and got thrust into the higher level competition. And I know a lot of that got to do with John football, but he was the play caller in the OC at A&M. But like I said, Tech. I mean, it was a lot of scoring, but obviously he couldn't control the defense, and the same thing at Arizona, kind of the same thing, because Arizona would put up points but couldn't stop a nosebleed. So I wouldn't hire him as a head coach anymore, but I do think him as an OC, I think he could definitely be a legitimate OC. And I know he's out there at USC right now. I'll put the call. I know we talked to him and discussed. We need to call him because, like, if we supposed to be running this Kubiak Shannon offense, I don't see that. And I would rather you just go ahead and make the call and bring in Cliff Kingsbury. Bring in Cliff Kingsbury and allow Cliff to run this offense. Allow Cliff to run this offense. I think the style that Cliff runs, I think actually, to be honest, fits C.J. Stroud better than the Kubiak Shannon offense. To be honest, mostly in the shotgun like he was at Ohio State. More of a spread type offense. Like I said, it's not air raid. It's air raid. It's more of a 7-on-7 type of style. I mean, CJ is a pure pocket passer. You protect CJ. The football. You protect CJ. The football is going to be delivered on time, and he's going to be able to put up a lot of points. So I definitely believe. I definitely believe there'll be one more hurry up. I definitely believe that's the better situation for the Houston Texans. I just think that is that's the main move that needs to be made. The main move that's be made is to further notice, get rid of Bobby Slowick and be bringing in Cliff Kingsbury before a team gets hyped up again about Cliff Kingsbury and tries to hire Cliff Kingsbury to be head coach. I know he's still getting paid in Arizona. He actually got contracts in Arizona, so he's not going to the NFL as a head coach because that would negate the contract. But I could see a college team hiring Cliff, and I think Cliff fits right in with college football, even as a head coach. I think he could fit in as he could get a bad team, a team that doesn't put up a lot of points, like a U of H. U of H offense is putrid right now. And they got down Dana Holgorsen, who's supposed to be an offensive guy. Dana Holgorsen wasn't even all that good when he was a coordinator at Tech, but that's a conversation for a whole other video. Like somebody like that could possibly get him and bring him to U of H, which he coached there as a quarterback coach before, and he's from the state of Texas. You get him in, he can be a head coach, and Timothy Fertitta can pay him a whole bunch of money. So I think that the Texans need to make that call before a college team makes that call and elevates Cliff. Would it be too early to go in a different route? I don't think it's too early. I think just go ahead and get rid of him now. I mean, maybe not now. Maybe not now, like in the middle of the season. I mean, it's only been 2 games, so maybe not now in the middle of the season, but definitely by the season end, I definitely think you could make that move. We could bring in Gary Kubiak's son, to be honest. Hey, I don't understand why they didn't bring in either one of his sons or bring in Gary Kubiak himself. But I do believe, again, like I said, the Kubiak Shanahan offense is my favorite type of offense, so I'm not going to say the offense doesn't work because it's working right now. It's working in San Francisco. It's working in LA with the Rams. It's working in Cincinnati with the Bengals and Minnesota with the Vikings and Green Bay. Green Bay. It's working. It's working all over the place now. It ain't really all. It ain't working with Stefanski and Deshaun Watson. It's holding the story. But I do think that this offense. I think a lot of people forget what actually goes into the offense because I think a lot of people be like, oh yeah, because I know a lot of people said that about Deshaun Watson, like, oh man, Deshaun Watson and Gary Kubiak offense because Deshaun Watson can run. Yeah, think about the bootleg factor. Like I said, I always said that I didn't think that the offense really would work with Deshaun Watson, mostly because Deshaun Watson is horrible at selling the play fake, and you need to be able to sell the play fake with their offense for their offense to run efficiently. You need to be able to sell that play fake, and Deshaun Watson was horrible at selling the play fake. Reason why is because he cared less about it. Like Deshaun Watson is pumped up about making stats and doing all this stuff. He's not worried about the small things to make something work, and you have to be able to sell that play fake for those plays to work. And also, I just don't think the offense fits him. The offense that fit him the most was to run that hybrid Dabo Swinney, Bill O'Brien offense. That was the best offense that he would be able to run that type of offense. That I know he led the league in passing and efficiency rating when he was running Tim Kelly's offense and running the stuff that running Tim Kelly's offense. That's more so a pin pick and we like to do. But I do believe that what we seen out of his rookie year was way better. and you run that hybrid you run that hybrid Dabo Sweeney, Bill O'Brien type offense. You run that in conjunction. That was the best way to get the best out of Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying running Ryan Day's offense is the best way to get out of C.J. Stroud, but I do think that running that wide open air raidish, not strictly air raid, but a version of an air raid offense for CJ would definitely help CJ out a lot. I think it definitely CJ be able to drop back for one because those the offensive line splits actually helps the offensive line block a little bit more too. So they get that helps CJ able to drop back and be in shotgun, able to get the football, able to stand up and look and see where he wants to deliver the football, and be able to deliver the football quickly and more accurately. Even though he can deliver the football accurately, he does need to work on delivering more quickly, and that's more so him being a rookie. I'm not really even tripping on that. That's on the long. That's further down of issues. But I do believe that type of offense will actually help CJ out a lot more. And Red is Tuna Washington. I mean, yeah. I haven't watched the Commanders, but I have heard that their offense looks pretty good. The Coupier offense is perfect for Anthony Richardson. The offense is perfect for Anthony Richardson is exactly what Steichen is doing. The only problem is Anthony Richardson keeps getting hurt. He's played 2 NFL games and got hurt in both of them. Man, didn't finish neither one of them. Like that. That's something that needs to be issue. But you know what? I do think this Coupier offense. I actually think it's more beneficial for Bryce Young, honestly. To be honest, I think it fits Bryce Young more than it does than Stingley. Than CJ. Man, I'm not gonna say Sting's a bust, man. Like I'm not gonna sit up here and say this thing is a bust. Sting and bust Spitz for like no. It's way too early to say he a bust. We about to be game 3 of his second year, and he hasn't played bad on the field. Now, when it comes to injuries, yes, the injury is a the injury is a concern. I know you're probably trolling right now. Like the injury is definitely a concern. It is definitely a concern. I asked this question: when do we start putting him in Will Fuller category? When do we start putting him in that category? Because when Will Fuller was on the field, Will Fuller could play. Problem with Will Fuller is that he couldn't stay healthy. That's why a lot of people can't stand Will Fuller or talk really bad about Will Fuller. But when you want to talk about from a production standpoint, Will Fuller on the field was more productive than Darius Stingley. And that's a fact. Will Fuller came out, he's the first receiver in NFL history that his first 2 games had over 100 yards in both games. Both games against it was week 1 against the Chicago Bears, week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Both of them had 100-yard games. And 100-yard games, a touchdown. The first game against the Chiefs game, I don't know I can't remember if he had a touchdown, but I know he had 100 yards. I know he had 100 yards. Was very productive his rookie year. But always missed the time hurt. But when he was on the field, he was out here getting anywhere between 80 to 100 and 140 yard catches. Out here getting a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, especially with Deshaun. He was he out here had 3 touchdown games and 200-yard games. He was out here being productive. Now Stingley didn't give up a touchdown last year, but then also didn't finish out the season as well. And let's be honest, he wasn't the best receiver he wasn't the best corner on the field. But he's supposed to be the best corner on the field. He's supposed to be the best corner on your team. Steven Nelson is the best corner on the team, and that's not even close. Will Fuller was never drafted to be the best receiver because he already had Hopkins. He was drafted to be the complement to Hopkins, to be the yin to the yang, to be the speed guy, the opposite of DeAndre Hopkins. That's what he was drafted for. And he did that. And at some points, looked like a number 1 receiver, regardless of what people will say. He was targeted more with Deshaun when they was both on the field. He was targeted more. And actually, with Deshaun Watson, without Will Fuller on the field, no matter if you had Hopkins or not, it was a completely different Deshaun Watson. Everything went down without Will Fuller. Completion percentage, quarterback rating, yards, and points per game. Points per game went down because of the threat that Will Fuller provided. Because Will Fuller was an actual factor on the field. But yet still, when we talk about Will Fuller, he was trash. He ain't never had 1,000 yards. Or he was trash. He was never healthy. We always say all these things. Where's that same energy for Stingley? Now again, it's only week 2, week 3 of his second year. He has the rest of his career go. He might come back off his injury and never miss a game due to injury again. That could possibly happen. But is that what history is telling you though? Again, I won't Stingley by no means. I'm not on Darius Stingley. I like Darius Stingley a lot, and I think he's going to be a top cornerback in this league. I think he's going to be a Champ Bailey type of quarterback in this league. But he got to stay on the field, man. He just got to. That's the problem. Him not being on the field hurts him and it hurts Nick Caserio. And that also with the trade for Willie Anderson and you possibly giving the Cardinals a top 5, top 8 pick might end up doing Nick Caserio in, to be quite honest. But yeah, I appreciate y'all coming through here and kicking it with me tonight. I know I'm supposed to start a little bit earlier, but I had some things I take care of a little bit late. But live stream after the game on Sunday. You already know what it is. We're going to talk about the game versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, we got to show Jacksonville, we got to remind Jacksonville that they Jacksonville, right? Right. Like we got to remind Jacksonville that they Jacksonville, right? Like, are we really going to go 0-3? Comment, look, before I go, man, y'all put in the, let me know what y'all think. Let me know y'all think win, lose, score prediction, whatever. Let me know what y'all think about Jacksonville. I want to see some more. I see some people in here. So yeah, go ahead, just put in, go ahead, type in what y'all think we're gonna do. Win, loss, score prediction. Let me see what y'all got. Didn't probably lose. Jacksonville gonna smash us. Champ Bailey, he has more Marlon Humphrey and Jack. Oh, Jair Alexander lost. So I see a lot of people. I see some losses. We lost a blowout. Man, we're gonna lose in the blowout. Oh, Texas win. Okay. I see Texas win. I don't know. I don't know. Man. We're gonna see. We definitely gonna see. But hey, I appreciate all y'all coming through here, kicking with me tonight. Jags are a 9.5 point favorite. Yeah. Well, if that's the case, we might get upset. I'm gonna say Jags 35. Damn, Texas 17. CJ the only QB starter from this class. Yep. Yeah, Bryce Young is out and AR is out. Yeah. CJ on the road to win offensive rookie of the year. We've never had offensive rookie year. Had 2 defensive rookie years that had offensive rookie year. Texas lose, but my fantasy lineup win. If we 0-3, Jazz don't. Man, CJ. Okay. But like I said, I appreciate y'all coming through here, man. Make sure y'all like. Y'all share, subscribe. We're still trying to get to 6,000 subscribers. So I appreciate all y'all help. Help me get to 6,000 subscribers. Let's continue. Let's get this thing going. And shout out to everybody with the super chat love. Definitely appreciate all that. Appreciate all y'all coming through here. All the likes, the comments. Definitely appreciate that. Like I said, we're going to do a lot. Texas win 26-20. All right, I see you. We're going to do a live stream after the game. So don't go nowhere. After the game, we're going to talk about it. Good, bad, and indifferent. We're going to talk about what happened. We're going to talk about what we seen. Like I said, we got to remind the Jags that they're the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Like, we got to do that. Like, we literally got to do that. So, like, share, subscribe, comment below, click that bell, get my videos. You already know how we rocking. Like I said, be here after the game on Sunday. Right after the game, be here on YouTube, live stream immediately after the game. We're going to talk about it, we're going to chop it up, and we're going to see exactly what the Houston Texans are doing, what they just did. So we're going to talk about it. So make sure y'all be here. And make sure, like I said, y'all like, y'all share, y'all subscribe. Y'all help me get this channel to 6,000 subscribers. I definitely appreciate all the love and support. Holla.